like to call to order the Public Safety Committee for the Common Council of the City of Hudson for Thursday, November 5th, 2015. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Hall. Here. Alderperson Morset.
Here.
Alderperson Weber.
Here.
All right, our first item on our agenda is discussion, possible action on the minutes of September 17th. Any corrections?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 2, discussion, possible action to install the pedestrian crossing flags on Grandview Drive at Hunter Hill Road, Stone Pine Avenue, and Stone Pine Bay. And I believe we have another email. Did everybody get that email about the cost for that? Okay. So if you wanted to take the mic.
Sure.
Introduce yourself, your name and address for the record, and then proceed.
Good evening, I'm Brian Elwood, 2005 Hunter Hill Court. I'm also the president of the Stone Pine Overall Association. We're requesting that some crossing flags be placed in on Grandview Drive at, you had mentioned, the Hunter Hill Road, Stone Pine Avenue, and Stone Pine Bay. These are 3 already marked crosswalks on Grandview Drive. Large number of children that live in the area. Obviously, the children cross from Hunter Hill Road to Hunter Hill Court. They're both, all 3 of those locations are also bus stops as well. So we believe the addition of those safety flags would aid in the safety of the children in the area. It's also a very popular walking area for a lot of residents in the area, not only residents within Stone Pine, but residents throughout Hudson because of the walking paths in the area. So we think we've seen the advantages of the crossing flags throughout the city of Hudson. They've proved to be good markers for people that are crossing busy intersections. I think we all know how much busier Grandview Avenue has become over the last 10 years. So we think it'd be a really good addition for that neighborhood.
Okay. Any questions? So the message I got was that we had our Public Works go up there and they identified both of them. On Stone Pine Avenue, there's the crosswalk, no ped ramp on either side, and a walking path on the one side. Hunter Hill has a crossing walk to nowhere, no ped ramp, pedestrian, and a walk path on one side. And I guess they talked to Mike Netz, and he stated that existing intersection of flags are barely used, and the flags get taken, never replaced, and the recent one that was just put in the show, just put in, shows no use at all. And for each intersection, the cost would be about $800, which requires signage, flags, and the install.
Well, I believe all 3 of those intersections or 3 of those crosswalks already have signs in place. The addition for any cost would probably just be for the holders and the flags in those locations.
Okay. Have you talked with Deb in the department or Tom Zulli at all up there about that?
Have not.
You just approached us first as safety committee?
Correct.
I think the email I got from Deb was wondering whatever the recommendation was from Public Safety, they'd like this forwarded to the Public Works Committee so they could take a look at the costs and so forth installation.
Yep.
Where were they saying the flags are stolen?
Yeah, the ones that are stolen, apparently we haven't replaced them. And I can't recall, did we install those since I've been here?
Yes. We installed them at Diamond at Vine Street. That's back when we had the one pedestrian that was hit there. We had the 4-way stop for a little while. We put the crossing flags in and then added the speed signs. And then we added them also down on 2nd and I think Myrtle.
Yeah.
2nd and Orange, somewhere in that area. We have crossing flags at. And then I believe we just installed some on St. Croix Street at 5th.
So what I'm gathering is it's not making much of a difference right now with what's up there right now. So I'm wondering if even those center line markers crossing, those neon green center line markers would be better.
You're talking about the yield to pedestrian?
Yeah, but in the winter, they take them out.
Right. So
Right.
they're gone for most of the
Right.
school season anyway.
And we're gonna end up sending this back to public safety, but cost is gonna be an issue, and is the association willing to kick in money for the cost?
Yeah, well, I certainly can talk to the association board and make a recommendation depending on that cost.
It typically, we
certainly
have
so.
asked associations to participate with that. And like you said, if there are signs, obviously it makes it a lot cheaper.
Yeah, there are signs at all three of those crosswalks currently on both sides of the street. So what you're talking about installing would just be the holders and the flags.
Right, but I think they have to be marked as an additional crossing marker or something signage because we're putting the flags up. No?
Don't think so. I think the only thing that goes in is, obviously, to make sure that the crosswalk is marked and that there's signage there, but
Okay.
again, I believe they do have them all.
Any questions? What's your pleasures? Joyce? Jim?
I move we forward this to Public Works with the recommendation that we install the signs as requested.
So-
Just the signs or the flags and?
Flags, sorry, the flags as requested, because I think that's all it is the flags.
re-clarify
Everything else
it.
is there.
We clarify your motion, what you're looking for.
That we forward this to Public Works for their review, that we install the flags, and that we work with the association, word that properly, but relative to their willingness to support some of the cost.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Did you have any other questions?
No, just please follow back up with us on those costs and we.
Marty will be
certainly
in contact with you, but you will
talk to the
also be now,
association.
you will also now be put on the Public Works agenda, and if you contact Deb Andrews up there, she can give you some breakdowns on the costs.
Okay,
But we're gonna forward this to the Public Works Committee, and I'm not sure when they meet next.
I'm not sure either.
24th is the tentative date.
24th of this month?
Yeah.
Okay.
So how did you get the information? You said that some of these have been stolen, but some of them are not even being used?
Yeah,
How do you know that they're not being used?
Well, they're gone.
Okay, so they can't be used because they're gone. All right,
We have
but,
not, that's the information I got when I requested more information on,
okay,
up there, on who's using them, what's the amount of use up there.
mm-hmm,
I gotta tell you, when I was driving my kid who was late to school, or during the time of the bus, I thought I could get around, sneak around like everybody else does. It is a mess. It's very busy up there, and kids are darting in and out of the streets, so.
mm-hmm.
And as the dark, comes in,
yeah, and that's, if you know the street too, there's a hill right in the middle of that
Mhm.
street, so
visibility.
it can be pretty dangerous at those crosswalks.
But that's the information, that was the observation made by our Public Works Department.
Have there been any studies done to show that these save lives or that they are?
Well, what we did back when the Diamond and Vine had the four-way stop is we had tried to come up with a different solution for it because traffic was starting to back up at the intersection in both directions. So the suggestion was made, let's do what Bayport, Minnesota does, and they have these crossing flags at all their major intersections right on 95, right in the downtown area. So that's how it came up through public safety, and I believe it came out through council, to install those at that location and to remove the stop sign. Well, then, after a while, I think there was 2 or 3 other requests we've gotten to put those flags out, because people want the idea of having a flag to let people know that they're out there. And then we also incorporate putting those yield to pedestrian, knockdown markers in the middle of the road. So, and those seem to, personally myself, I think those work better than the flags do, because people see that thing in the middle of the road. You can't miss it.
So for
And those are
minimal,
less likely to be stolen.
right,
No,
for minimal,
no, they're hard to get rid of.
minimal costs, we're getting a bigger bang, or we're getting more results with those flags at
Okay.
a minimal cost.
The only thing is aren't they more expensive?
The flags cost more to replace.
So what do they cost per flag about approximately?
I wanna say $75 a piece, but they could.
Wow.
I don't quote me on
Yeah,
that.
but-
because I don't
I see
know.
a new business.
I think we'd certainly be open to other ideas and suggestions, just any way that we can make those crosswalks safer for the pedestrians. So if there's a better, safer, more innovative way to do that, we'd certainly be open to discussing that.
And we're all for listening to that, and then as long as you guys are on board, and we just come together and get it right up there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Any other further discussion? I think in the springtime, through the summer, we could put the center line knockdown markers up, but in the winter, we're kind of on our own, so, with the flags.
So those are taken out during the winter to make
Yeah.
plowing easier?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, all in favor of moving us to the Public Works Committee?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Not, so next, the
Great.
24th, I believe it'll be, just,
Thank you.
yeah, Marty will let you know.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to come see us. Number 4, discussion, possible action to increase the speed limit to 35 miles per hour on Higgins Street between Cooley Road and Hanley Road, and to increase the speed limit to 45 miles an hour on Cooley Road between Second Street and Higgins Street. Chief,
As you can see, I've included Mr. Ramirez's request for these changes in that email. I've also included the definitions from Wisconsin state statutes in regards to what is fixed limits, what's an outlying district, a rustic road, and so forth. I highlighted that information for you. And then, obviously, I put down there the way the local authority can make those changes. And this is something that we've been doing for quite a while now, is if you want to make a speed limit change, it's not just on the definition, you need to do a traffic engineering study to see, does that road meet the requirements in which to do so? So, I know Mr. Ramirez said that he felt that especially Hagan Street was more of a speed trap. I don't think we're writing any more tickets on that road than we are on any other street,
no.
even though it's 25 miles an hour through there. But we do have a daycare there. We have a couple
Comfort
assisted livings in that area, residential. Definitely, you could probably say it's an outlying district, but I'm not quite sure it is something we want to
Yeah,
look at
those roads were
changing.
never put there to be fast and to get around town faster. They were never used for that. And I see, Marty, your recommendation was to deny the request.
Right, obviously, if you want to have a traffic engineering study to do it, but you're gonna be looking at spending, anywhere in $15,000-$20,000 to have it done. That's quite a bit of money to spend on an engineering study, and they might come back and say, we recommend you leave it the same, so.
I move to deny.
And I'll second. Any other further discussion?
No, I see no reason to change the speed limits then and spend that kind of money. If people were clamoring for it, then I'd say yes, that we could justify spending that kind of money, but with one request, I don't think that would be an appropriate expenditure.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion to deny passes. Next, item number 5, discussion, possible action on municipal code 175-3 to allow composting.
This was sent to us from Public Works Committee in regards to looking at changing the ordinance. I've put all the information that Public Works had. I then met with the city attorney, and she found 3 different ordinances that take a look at composting. And basically, if you take a look at all 3 of them are very, very similar. They all basically state the same things. It's got to be covered. You got to make sure that you have no animal, as it's yard waste, it's organic material. The person has to maintain it and so forth. So if it's the safety committee's recommendation that they would like to see this come forward in an ordinance, because we'll also have to change chapter 175-3 to allow composting. We'd have to return it to the city attorney to have her make something up for the city to bring it back for your review.
I'm in agreement.
I certainly would want to promote composting, or at least not prevent it.
No, right, exactly.
Yeah, and as am I. But there was a lengthy email did we all receive that email?
From,
One of her neighbors.
Former Mayor Tom Redner.
Yeah, Tom Redner.
oh, yeah.
So complaining about the raccoons that was attracting, and so,
You're not gonna stop raccoons, you're not gonna stop anything like that. That's gonna happen.
Well, the raccoons and the squirrels, there's plenty of bird feeders out that are gonna attract them, so I don't know that there's a difference with, that compost is gonna attract that many more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that everybody was aware that there was
Well, I
a
dismiss that
response.
argument. I mean, we've got people that want to do the right thing and, do composting the proper way. I see no reason why to stop them,
Yeah.
just because of one complaint from one guy that thinks raccoons are going to take over the city. So I'll move, we recommend that the city attorney adopt an ordinance specifically for the city of Hudson, and then bring it back to us.
We can do that.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion?
Well, I was reading through those, just kind of comparing, they are very similar, but they seem to differ on, one is whether you could have cooked vegetables. The recommendations in some of the material is that you have animal manure is a good addition to it, but in these ordinances, they tended to deny the use of manure. So it's kind of,
If
Do
we
we
get it
have
back,
all the
do we need to
information?
tweak it then, is what you're saying?
yeah.
I think because most people
We
who are gonna
may need a
come,
little bit more information, a little more technical information about,
Yeah.
how do you manage that and do it properly? Because manure certainly is a good composting
Mhm.
material.
most people who are gonna be composting are gonna be really on board with composting and knowing what they're trying to get in the end to use elsewhere, so.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. I mean,
No,
you
to
have
do
to
it
pay
properly.
attention to it.
Any further discussion?
Well, I would say, ask Sue Dahl, who's written us the letter to start with, to be a consultant on the legislation. Sounds like she's an expert. She's been teaching how to compost, so,
Well, it'll come back from, and she should more than welcome to come to the next meeting when we have the ordinance in front of us, so she can add her
okay.
thoughts and impressions to it, and then we can move it forward from there. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Seeing none. Number 6, discussion possible action to install crosswalks on Carmichael Road near the golf course to Cooley Road and on Cooley Road west to where the sidewalk ends. Now, I know we had this before. Jim, you requested it back on the agenda.
Right, in the Public Works Committee, which I happened to have been a member of at the time, voted to not take any action because it was stated that we have never done this in the city. And that was, policy was what we were concerned about. Well, the next day, we got an email, said, whoops, look across the highway, they're all marked. So I think, we can either wait till Public Works meets on it, or we can, we already have their, I guess I'd say we have their decision, but we now have new information that says it's not a policy issue. It is being done, and that we should,
Are they looking to market?
I don't know if anybody's looking to market.
No, has Public Works decided that they'll market?
No, they haven't met since that
Okay.
feedback.
Is it on their agenda for their 24th meeting?
We can make it be on their agenda. I think we should move it forward with a recommendation that they figure out how to do that, just to adopt that and,
Is it on the city side now that they're requesting it, or is it on the other side? 'Cause
It's on the city, it's basically that walking
Also-
path that starts at the golf course and works its way around. So that would be the city's right of way,
okay.
so.
it's mirrored across the freeway, it's mirrored, it's already there.
All right, so you want a motion to move it for a stamp of our approval to move to Public Works again?
That sounds good.
Move to do that. Second by you.
I'll
All in
second that.
favor?
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Nice and easy. All right, department updates, starting from this, our new chief of the EMS, Brandon I can't remember.
Lixet.
Lixet, all right.
Don't have any specific departmental updates other than for emergency management. The siren behind the high school failed yesterday.
Oh,
Went and had it rechecked, didn't go off, so we contacted American Signal. They're gonna come out and fix that. I'm also gonna get a proposal to get that added onto our system. We currently can't monitor that particular siren from our computer downstairs.
We just talked about this a few months back. We were going to address that issue, but it said it was working fine, but Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So yeah, we're just in the process of setting up a date for them to come and repair that, and they're gonna give me a quote too to add that controller if we can go with that. So
Okay.
I'll bring that back when I have more info.
And are you working on the information that was requested?
Yes, yep, and I do have numbers,
You do have those numbers,
Yep.
okay?
so,
That'd be good to get those out as soon as possible, whenever you're ready, sooner the better.
right,
So the questions can be asked, and you can go back and get answers and bring them back.
yeah, it's been a little bit of a struggle getting the answers we wanted, but
Well, you're getting
got
caught
'em.
up. Like I said the other night, 2, 3 weeks you've been in
Yeah.
the job, so you got a lot on your plate. So, and we're here to support you, not knock you down.
appreciate that, thanks.
Now, you, on the other hand, chief,
You've been here a year. You've been here a year, so.
yeah, you've been on it too long.
Ready to knock down. No, I'd just like to welcome Brandon. I've obviously known him since I've been here. I'm excited to have him on board and work together because I think we have a lot of things we need to work together on. So that's great. One thing was today we all participated in a tabletop exercise up in North Hudson with county municipalities, some people from the state, state hazmat people. Tabletop was a train derailment was the accident, and I thought that went well. It was a good experience for everybody.
Was that open for observers? Because I've been on those, and it wouldn't hurt to have some of us folks there.
Well, they had elected officials there. I didn't see any from Hudson. I'm not sure if they were
Didn't get
not
that
sent.
memo.
I didn't see anything.
Next time, it's good for us to see that.
Yeah, I believe Stan Weckham from the town was there.
Yeah,
from
so
North Hudson.
North Hudson's the one who put it on because the derailment was in their jurisdiction, but they invited us because we'd all be, obviously being participants in that, so.
Okay.
I can check to find out if they sent anything this
Just
way.
next
but-
time, I know
Yeah.
the last time we did it was the boat sank out there.
Correct.
So anyway, I thought that was good. It was a good experience bringing all the other people to the table too. Obviously, we continue to have space issues with the fire station, which I don't think you need to be reminded of, but hopefully things are going well with that.
Are you gonna be sending me a brush truck pretty soon?
Maybe. It's not gonna be nice to you today. Craig Smith retired after 27 years with the fire department. So yeah, so we accepted his resignation, and hopefully next month we'll have a little something for him at our annual, our monthly meeting.
27 years?
I believe it was 27, yeah. And then also I'll be starting the process of talking to the advisory board and maybe the mayor council of possibly putting in for a couple grants. There's only a short window. It's a 30-day window that's going to be announced fairly soon. If we put in for them, it would be just for things that we have on our capital budget, not anything extra. So it would be something that we are kind of slated to replace. So other than that, we've been busy, fires and quite a few runs lately.
Dry out there, or accidents?
Just accidents and alarms and a few fires and fire up on Yellowstone. So
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone, yeah. Out in the township, we had a 40 by 60 building.
Oh, yes, okay.
So
Response up or down, or your volume
I
call?
believe last month we had about 37. We're kind of up and down a little bit, and I believe last month we had average of 17 people responding and about 37 calls. So we're kind of on the path of the average, for the year, I believe. Barring a storm or anything, big events.
Knock on wood. You got your CDL, right?
Yes, I do actually.
Okay, well, when the snowstorms come, we want you plowing too.
Whatever it takes, however I can help.
Mr. Marty,
We're currently working on updating or getting an eligibility list together for that one position I have right now. We're gonna be taking the written tests on the 17th and 19th of this month. And then hopefully the first part of next month or the middle of next month, we'll begin the interview process. I don't anticipate filling that position till sometime in end of January, maybe first part of February.
that late.
It'll take some time, because after we have the testing done, it takes about 2 weeks to get the test back. Then we'll have probably another week and a half where we'll have to set up who we're gonna interview and then get their, set up the dates, get them in. by the time we get back to the Police and Fire Commission, they won't be able to do their review until sometime in first part of January. When they give me the list, then I have to do backgrounds on them. That's gonna take 2 or 3 weeks, and then you have the physical and psychological testing. And then once that's done, then they'll have to give their boss 2-week notice before they start with us, so it could be some time before we get it, so.
Where are we at number-wise as far as active duty officers right now?
We're currently, right now, at 22 sworn, which includes myself.
Are they all in working?
Yes, all of them are working, except for one investigator who is currently on medical leave.
So you're at 21.
21.
Okay.
But I'm supposed to have 23 total, but currently I have that open space, and then I'm one investigator down. He tore his Achilles tendon, so he's off for a little while.
Okay.
So, and basically, I think that's about it. I don't think we've had too much more. We have our graduation next Tuesday for our Citizens Police Academy class, so, kind of looking forward to getting that up and done. And
How many?
14.
Nice.
And we had, Joyce has been in it for
Who?
the entire time, Joyce. And,
I missed a few because of other meetings, but overall.
and
been able to
Tom
get the most
McCormick
work.
from the council been on it. And they both went for a ride on the Taser.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
I did 2 seconds. I watched everybody doing 5, and I went, I don't need 5 in order to know what that's all about. 2 will be just fine.
What'd you think of that?
I would never do it again, but it was, I'm glad I experienced it.
How about Tom? How did he fare?
He did the full 5 seconds.
Yes, he
I
did.
think he had to prove he was a tough guy or something.
Boy, I would have liked to seen that one.
He,
There's a videotape.
that was interesting.
Yeah.
That was very, very interesting, so.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she did well. She was a trooper, so. We have graduation next Tuesday, so we're kind of looking forward to that, so.
Very nice.
Chief, do you want to bring up the vehicle break-ins at all?
The vehicle break-ins, we've had a ton of them recently. People are still leaving items in their cars and leaving their cars unlocked. So people are getting into them.
So is it all the neighborhoods, or are there specific
Well,
ones that are
we
harder
got,
hit?
we got hit twice in a 2-week time period.
Your neighborhood?
No, we had them, it was kind of all over town. Majority of them was up on the hill on the south side. Quite a few vehicles, Sweetgrass, Tallgrass area, Namacoggin Loop. We had one handgun, I think it was a handgun that was stolen from underneath the car, in the back seat of a car. So we encourage everybody, please don't leave valuables in your car, lock your cars up. If they can't, they're looking for open doors, they don't want to be smashing windows, but if they see something of value in there, they will smash your window. So we encourage everybody, take your stuff out of your car, lock it up, and you'll be fine.
Does that include the city of Hudson's budget?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Let's segue back right into the, and then we go back to information, into the fleet inventory that we talked about.
This is,
grasping.
and if I'm looking at the agenda, the document, it should be 3 pages. The middle one, number 2, is the document that is the updated one. The only thing you're missing is the mileages. I had made a different document, and I gave the wrong one to Melanie, so that's my fault. But these are our current lists. We have 16 cars total. Mileages are anywhere from 110,000 down to about, the newer ones are probably in the 30,000 mile range.
You don't have mile, all you do on the top.
I
On the
got the
bottom.
wrong, I got the mileages, I just forgot, sent the wrong docket to Melanie. I had made a different docket, or
Is the
document.
third page correct, or
Say what now?
the third page, which is red?
Those,
Those are the ones we.
those are old ones.
Okay.
They were part of a spreadsheet that we were using. The middle one, number 2 of 3, that is the current list of vehicles that we have.
But you have no mileage. So our oldest one is 2007.
Correct.
So we're not doing too bad.
No. And that's a Trailblazer. That's one of our undercover vehicles that we've got. It's in actually really good shape. What we've been doing is every year we get 2 vehicles and we get rid of 2. So we've been really good about that. If I get my lieutenant's position back, what I was probably gonna do this year would be get 2 vehicles in, make one of them the lieutenant's vehicle, and then the other one would go on a patrol, and I would get rid of one of my patrol vehicles. That way I won't have to worry about, getting a leased vehicle for the lieutenant's position. And then he would have a vehicle.
Okay.
I currently have, if you take a look at the car numbers, 37 is an unmarked. 19 belongs to Sergeant Kuzmarek, he's our night patrol sergeant. 110, that's Sergeant or Officer Grass, he works in the schools, that's our marked squad. 311 is Officer Wildman, he's in the schools. 211 is a 2004, that Timmy Rieger drives that one currently, but anybody can drive it if it's necessary, it's a marked squad.
2011.
Yep, and that vehicle has less than 40,000 miles on it. So, he's driving that one currently. As you can see, 113 and 413 are interceptors, or one's an Explorer, one's an Interceptor that we have open for patrol. The K9 is in 213. And then the 114 car is open. And then Sergeant Hartman, who is he's going to be one of our new investigators, is driving a 2014 Explorer. Sergeant Schultz, who's one of our investigators, is driving the pickup truck, which is a police vehicle. They use that for when we do collecting evidence of search warrants. It's nice to have a pickup truck versus having to get one for Public Works. My vehicle, obviously, I'm driving the Charger. We've gotten 4 of them in 2014 or 15 because some of them, we had some damages from cars that broke down at the end of the year, so they ended up getting 2015s versus 14s. So it might have looked like we got 4 cars in one year, but we didn't. The majority of them are open. They belong to the officers. So currently I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe I've got 5 that are open. Yeah, currently 5 that are used by investigators or detectives. Detectives or myself.
6
They're
open
unmarked.
cars.
Huh?
6 open cars?
Well, the open cars are the ones that are available for the patrol officers, but they can also use, if need be, they can also use the patrol sergeants or Officer Rieger's cars. So basically what we usually have about 7 cars available for patrol. Now, at any one time, I might have 2 to 5 officers on duty, depending on the schedule or what's going on in the weekend. So that's the reason that we have so many patrol vehicles, is you never know when you might have those extra bodies out. If you're doing a transport across the state, you've got to have a vehicle available for them. One breaks down, you got to have a car. And then obviously when you have big weekends, 4th of July parades and stuff like that, you got to have the extra vehicles. So that's why we currently have that many.
Okay. No, I like this information. I guess I would request that next month you guys have the fire and EMS get us the
I
same
have all
type.
that here tonight if you want it.
I don't need it tonight,
Okay.
but you can email me, give us the same type of report, just to know where we're at fleet-wise. Give us more information when it comes to buying time to,
And I'll try to remember to email you the updated one that has the mileages on it. I apologize for not having that here.
any questions from members to our chiefs? No? Any informational items from either?
Just kind of going back to the vehicle thing, we started, this time we had our ladder truck in for repair. We had we have DOT inspections, but we also, this time, kind of on the advice of the advisory board, we found someone that's gonna do a full inspection of all of them and give us life expectancy, do a baseline, like oil test to see if there's any contaminants or any issues with the motors. They'll compare pump tests from when they're new to the latest ones. So they'll give us a full report, and then we'll have something, kind of a baseline of what the expectations are. We have a replacement policy, but it'll give us a third-party kind of objective. They're not a salesman, they're not someone from the fire department, and then hopefully we can tweak the plan down the road for replacement, and whether any of them are candidates for refurbishment before we have to get for replacement. So we're kind of hopefully gonna have that done by March of all of them, so then that's in the works, and that'll be done by then, so.
Okay, nice. Any informational items? Anything for our next agenda?
No.
No?
I go back to the police report. It seems like I've seen a lot more stops taking place. I don't know if that's just coincidence, but a lot more
Well,
activity there,
I
which
think things have slowed down just a little bit since we started getting the fall of the year, away from summer months. Some of our stuff has slowed down. So, and I've got younger officers out there now who are, I don't want to say
Aggressive.
more aggressive, but they are a little bit more
Enthusiastic.
proactive is the word I'm looking for. They like to go out and do that kind of stuff. So you'll see a lot more probably traffic enforcement, so.
I
And again, I'm hopeful that once we get back up to full strength again, that we'll see more of that too.
that's good.
All right, anything else for agendas in the future? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Thank you, everybody, for coming.